Did you know that the family member who spots dysfunction first is often labeled the problem? It's a psychological phenomenon called shooting the messenger, where families unconsciously target the person, threatening their comfortable denial. Have you ever been called too sensitive or accused of overthinking things when pointing out troubling family patterns? Your perspective isn't wrong, it's ahead of everyone else's. Like finding a cracked foundation others refuse to see, you've developed the emotional awareness they haven't yet acquired. Today, we're unpacking the 5 undeniable signs you're the black sheep, and exploring how this painful position makes you the family's greatest hope for healing. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you are looking to achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. Sign number 1. The pattern recognition that sets you apart. What's happening is extraordinary. Your mind connects dots that others can't see. As an INFJ, you possess an internal radar that picks up whispers of family dynamics, recognizing underlying patterns that remain completely invisible to everyone else. This is your dominant cognitive function of introverted intuition at work, silently collecting data points and assembling them into meaningful patterns. The truth is, this gift often becomes your burden. When you try to point out these patterns, like how your brother creates drama before essential family events, or your parents' arguments follow a predictable cycle that begins with minor frustrations and escalates to silence, you're met with resistance, not gratitude. Family members label you as too sensitive or accuse you of making things up. This is a psychological defense mechanism. Your observations threaten the family's comfortable narrative, so they protect themselves by discrediting your insights. Consider when you noticed your father's criticism consistently following your mother's success. When you mentioned this pattern, everyone acted like you were overthinking. You weren't. You saw the invisible threads connecting seemingly separate events, threads others can't perceive or actively choose to ignore. This creates a painful paradox. The very ability that could help heal family dysfunction becomes the reason you're pushed to the margins. In dysfunctional systems, homeostasis is maintained by rejecting the member who points out problems. You become the target, creating profound isolation when your perceptions are dismissed rather than welcomed. But here's where transformation begins. What if you stopped questioning your observations and recognized them as your superpower? Your ability to see beyond the surface narrative is a revolutionary gift that allows you to identify and break generational cycles that would otherwise continue unchallenged. Sign number 2, becoming the unwilling emotional repository. Your ability to see family patterns is just the beginning of what makes you different. The second sign emerges in those moments when everyone's emotional baggage somehow finds its way to your doorstep. Why is it that the same family members who can't handle your observations have no problem using you as their therapist? This one-sided dynamic reveals something profound about your role in the family system. Remember the last family gathering where everyone cornered you one by one? First, your sister vents about her relationship problems, then your cousin shares work frustrations, followed by your mom unloading her worries, only for someone to comment later that you seem too intense when you finally express your feelings. This connection between pattern recognition and emotional burden isn't coincidental. As an INFJ, you naturally create safe emotional harbors for others. Your presence communicates understanding without judgment, making you the default confidant within your family circle. What begins as occasional support gradually transforms into an expected service. You become the family's emotional processing center. The issue lies in the profound imbalance. You clearly absorb others' pain, anger, and confusion, yet when you need support, family members often lack the depth of understanding to hold space for your emotions. This creates an exhausting dynamic where you understand everyone, yet no one seems capable of understanding you. Family systems reinforce this imbalance through subtle manipulation. Phrases like, "You're so good at handling these things," function as pressure points, silently obligating you to provide unlimited emotional support without requiring reciprocity. Your extraordinary empathic abilities, feeling others' emotions as if they were your own, are both a gift and a burden. Without boundaries, this emotional absorption gradually depletes your energy and creates resentment. The turning point comes when you realize that absorbing everyone's emotions is a learned survival mechanism requiring recalibration. By establishing clear emotional boundaries and requiring reciprocity, you transform from being the family's emotional dumping ground to becoming its emotional leader. Sign number 3, refusing to follow the unwritten family rules. While establishing emotional boundaries transforms relationships, relationships, a deeper rebellion is taking shape within you. Every family operates by an unspoken script, those implicit rules about values, career choices, relationship patterns, and emotional expression that members are expected to follow without question. Did you ever wonder why your simple life choices trigger such disproportionate reactions from family members? Has your family ever reacted with shock or horror when you chose a different path than they expected, even though you never explicitly agreed to their expectations in the first place? That reaction reveals the power of unwritten family constitutions, the invisible framework governing everything from acceptable career paths to who's allowed to express which emotions and when. What most might interpret as your stubborn defiance is your natural resistance to perpetuating toxic patterns that have silently controlled your family for generations. These unspoken rules often contain harmful elements passed down through time. We don't discuss feelings in this family, everyone studies medicine, or we always forgive family no matter what they do. When you question or step away from these scripts, you break free from an old creaking mold that no longer fits your authentic shape. The backlash can be severe and surprisingly intense. You're threatening the system's equilibrium when you opt out of traditional holiday gatherings that always end in conflict, or pursue an artistic career instead of the family business. Research in family systems therapy reveals these unwritten rules serve a crucial purpose: maintaining homeostasis, even when that stability preserves dysfunction. The family's immune system naturally identifies the rule breaker as the problem, rather than examining the rules themselves. What's fascinating is how personally family members take your different choices, as if your decision to live authentically somehow invalidates their entire life approach. Their defensive reactions, from guilt tripping to emotional manipulation to outright rejection, aren't actually about you. They're protecting the system they've invested in, even when that system doesn't serve anyone's highest good. Sign number 4. When your differences become threatening. These defensive reactions reveal something even more profound about your position in the family system. When your differences aren't inconvenient but actively perceived as threatening, you've discovered the 4th sign that you're the family black sheep. This isn't just about disagreement, it's about the cognitive dissonance your authentic perspective creates within the entire family structure. Research on minority influence reveals a fascinating psychological effect. When a single dissenting voice emerges within an established group, it forces everyone else to either reconsider their beliefs or reject the individual expressing the different viewpoint. And let's be honest, rejection is almost always the path of least resistance. One INFJ shared, "When I questioned our holiday traditions, my mother accused me of trying to ruin everything when I was simply suggesting an alternative." Your authentic self challenges the entire family operating system, triggering resistance that manifests as dismissal or criticism. This dynamic becomes significantly pronounced in families where your natural INFJ depth and complexity collide with more surface-level approaches to life. Your family members experience genuine psychological discomfort because your perspective implicitly questions their worldview. When you raise ethical concerns about something the family has always accepted, or when you need space to process emotions while others want a quick resolution, the contrast becomes unmistakable. What's particularly painful is how these differences are pathologized. The family's encouragement to just lighten up or stop making everything so complicated isn't actually about helping you. It's about reducing their own discomfort with your natural way of processing information. Their attempts to fix you reveal more about their limitations than yours. The transformation begins when you recognize that being the source of this discomfort isn't a character flaw, but potentially your greatest strength. Start by identifying one situation where your different perspective provided valuable insight. Then practice affirming this daily. Your differences don't make you broken. They make you uniquely equipped to see what others miss, a capability that once embraced transforms from a perceived threat into your authentic power. Sign number 5. Born to stand out, not blend in. While most people are born with an instinct to fit in, INFJs arrive with a completely different operating system. That feeling of never quite fitting in despite years of trying, it's not because you're doing something wrong. Your differences aren't just coincidental. They're fundamental to your INFJ identity. Your natural orientation toward authenticity rather than conformity creates inherent tension, especially in family systems that prioritize sameness over individual expression. This isn't just about personality preferences. It's about fundamentally different ways of experiencing the world. When your family gravitates towards surface-level gatherings, and you crave depth when they value tradition for tradition's sake, you question its meaning and operate according to your authentic design. This statistical rarity, making up only 1 to 2% of the population, explains why you've always felt like you're speaking a different emotional language than everyone else. You're likely the only person in your immediate family with cognitive wiring, creating a fundamental mismatch between your natural gifts and your family's expectations. The truth is, many INFJs exhaust themselves, attempting to camouflage their true nature just to gain family acceptance. You might downplay your insights to avoid being called too deep. You might force yourself to attend draining social events when you desperately need solitude. You might pretend to care about things that feel meaningless to you. But here's the profound paradox. True belonging can never come from pretending to be someone you're not. Brené Brown emphasizes that authentic belonging requires being seen and accepted for who you truly are, not for how well you conform to others' expectations. This distinction between fitting in versus belonging is crucial for INFJs. The breakthrough comes when you recognize that standing out isn't a design flaw, but a feature. Your tendency to question, to seek meaning, and to desire deeper connection are strengths to embrace. And what might your family relationships look like when you fully step into this authentic self? That transformation is what we'll explore next. If you've resonated with these signs, it's time to reframe your perspective entirely. Your family needs you precisely because you're different. By embracing your authentic self, rather than shrinking to fit expectations, you become the catalyst that might transform your entire family system. Your willingness to stand in your truth lights the spark of change that extends far beyond yourself. What's your black sheep story? Share in the comments. Your experience may inspire others to rewrite their family's healing journey. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.